anyone who says putting ejaculate on your face for a face mask or anything like that, please do not do that. Sperm does contain calories and some vitamins and things like that. It's anywhere between, 10 and 20 calories. So while it does contain some nutrients, I wouldn't say it's enough to make much of a difference in terms of your overall health. Sperm can live in the female reproductive tract for up to 5 days. So it's a really long time, much longer than I think a lot of people think. If you are having intercourse close to your ovulation, there's still a chance that you can get pregnant even if you're not having intercourse on the day of ovulation. Or ejaculate includes everything in the sample. There can be round cells, other debris, red blood cells, other types of round cells in the sample that is included in ejaculate. Sperm is just the swimmers that are in there. Preejaculate is the ejaculate that comes out of a penis before the orgasm or climax, if you will. It's usually used as like lubrication when you're having intercourse. So you can in fact get pregnant from pre-cum or pre-ejaculate. There's this misconception that there is no sperm, but there is sperm in that part of the ejaculate, even though it's pre-ejaculate. There's not a whole lot of research that shows that semen is good for your hair or good for your skin, and even if it is, I think there are lots of other things that would be better suited for your face or your hair. Sperm does not die when it touches air. This is a huge misconception. I'm not sure whether that happened in like middle school sex ed, but sperm does not die when it touches air. It will die when it starts to dry out, when the ejaculate starts to dry out, but we analyze samples hours, sometimes hours after they are produced, and they're completely live. Unlike people who have ovaries, and after a while you stop producing eggs, people with sperm can produce sperm throughout their whole life. While older people do still produce sperm, it's usually lower quality, there's usually less of it, and there's usually a higher instance of DNA fragmentation in those samples. DNA fragmentation is essentially the damage to the DNA inside the sperm. It could result in a miscarriage, it could result in not getting pregnant at all. Remember, ejaculate is not the same as sperm, as swimmers. So you can still be producing ejaculate, meaning that when you orgasm, there's still ejaculate coming out of your penis, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there is sperm in that ejaculate. So a lot of times there's this misconception that, okay, I'm ejaculating fine, I must be fine. And that's not necessarily the case. We can see you can have a very normal amount or volume of ejaculate with no sperm. You can be infertile and still produce sperm, but that sperm would maybe have no motility, or it could all be dead, or such high DNA fragmentation that it's not going to produce a normal embryo. There's been some research done recently that shows boxers versus briefs don't make a difference, but things like if you're an avid cyclist and you are, cycling hours a day, or you're spending every day in a hot tub or in a sauna, those things will have an effect on your sperm count, but boxers versus briefs don't make a difference. In terms of the studies that it helps with headaches or insomnia, I think a lot of that comes from just intercourse in general. So they're saying that, the semen is helping with insomnia or headaches, but really it's the sexual intercourse that's happening that is releasing endorphins and adrenaline and things like that, that can help with some of those headaches. Frozen samples, if they are in a controlled tank and there's no catastrophic event, sperm can essentially live forever. Obviously, none of us have been around forever, but in theory, it can live as long as it is in that liquid nitrogen.